All right, hey, it's Miss Chantel. Y'all know what it is. Ooh, listen, y'all know what I gotta do before I get the yapping. The last live stream I did, and this happened before. Um, the mute button was on. Hey, something was wrong with the stream. I didn't even know. So I'm gonna check this stuff before I get to yapping my mouth. Okay, let me check the volume, see how everything's sounding. Give me a second. All right, everything sounds good. Last time I went live, I did not check it. I forgot to check how the stream sounded, and of course, it was on mute. And I had to put that stream on private. Okay, give me a second. Let me go back to my station. I hope you guys having a good night tonight. Miss Chantel, that well, it's at the top of the morning, right? So I hope you guys feeling good. Who's listening in? And yeah, yeah. Miss Chantel is doing good. I'm up drinking some tea. Well, I had a long day, and when I got back home, very long day, tiring. And when I got back home, I fell asleep. So of course now I'm up in the wee hours in the morning, but that's okay. I'll be back to sleep in a minute. Give me a second. Sipping on me some mocha green tea. I think it's called Moroccan green tea and mint. You know, like my teas, they calm me down. So, anyways, I had a few links today earlier when I came home and was relaxing because I was so tired and sleepy, and I got to hear a few live streams. Um, and as usual, it was a bunch of babbling about Africa and yeah, basically Black Americans and Africans going at it. Okay, when I tapped into one of them, they had an African calling another Black American person a slave, and then I tapped in on a different channel, and it was the same thing. He was called another African calling a Black American person a slave, and I'm like, wow, how super disrespectful. Like, do you even know what those people went through for you to take that so lightly to say? I mean, Africa has no connection to the people they sold around the world for hundreds of years because Africa's been selling their people way before the Atlantic slave trade, long before that slave trade, around the world, not just to European Americans, but around the world for toys. And people be like, well, what's your beef with Africa when I state things like that, which is facts? Um, they'd be like, well, what's your beef? You got a problem with Africa? Oh, slow your roll, honey. No, 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 no. Miss Chantel has no problem with Africa. I don't think about Africa, ain't thinking about Africa, don't connect to Africa, ain't trying to connect to Africa, and don't want to have anything to do with Africa. Okay, so I don't wake up thinking about Africa. If I want to escape America, I can tell you it won't be Africa that I run to. Okay, it won't be that direction, and that's my prerogative, right? I don't. That's not my mindset. I don't think about Africa on no kind of level. Okay, I don't assume any identity to Africa, any connection to Africa. Right, my roots trace back into indigenous and Creole peoples of America. Okay, take it how you want to. You can take it as a form of me rejecting Africa and rejecting the bloodline, or call it what you like. All I'm saying is personally, I have no connection to Africa, period. Of course, I have some lineage from slavery, but that's been bred out long ago, long ago, hundreds of years, long ago. Okay, the people that we mainly was in contact with after Mama Africa gave birth to the enslavers' children continuously, as of setting feet on this oil, all she did was pop out the enslavers' babies. She bred out her bloodline with the enslavers, and then with the allies of American indigenous tribes. The majority of people that influenced Black lives were Europeans and American indigenous people who we were around daily, every single day. We were not around Africans. All we know is what Mama Africa got to pass down to us a little bit, very little. And yeah, so the African influence thing ain't nothing but a bunch of racism. I'll break that down in the next live stream I do about cultural erasure in American society, about racist census in American society. I'll do that the next time I live stream, okay? But right now I'm not talking about that tonight. I just touched up on it to give you an understanding where Miss Chantel is coming from, my view, my angle of me not having any connections to Africa. So anything Africans think about Black Americans, I can guarantee. Listen, I've been born and raised around Black people in this country all my life. Never lived around any other kind. Well, I've lived around other kinds, but um, all around the country, I've lived around Black American people. I know when I see my people, I can kind of, from what comes from the mouth, as the Bible say, what comes from the mouth comes directly from the heart. A lot of times I can tell when it's a Black immigrant cosplaying Black American. It's not any heart. You understand what I'm saying? Our struggle, our people, is not any heart. It's not embedded in a heart. They just wear it on the surface. They're pretending to be us, but you can only go so far when you're pretending to be somebody else. You don't have the depthness of them. You don't have what's planted in their heart. Okay? That means that you like a tree that can be uprooted and blown away with the wind. But for us who truly love ourselves, our people who truly are ADOS FBA people in particular, we love ourselves strongly and we bring out the sword and war for our people because it's in our heart. And we can't be uprooted by nail what somebody say, not nail what somebody say. That means anything somebody say. It doesn't matter what you say. You can't uproot us because the love is there. It's embedded in us. We're planted strong in who we are. But for those fake cosplaying Black Americans, aka Black immigrants calling themselves Black Americans, who's not Black American, of course, their origins come from somewhere else abroad. They can be uprooted and blown in the wind somewhere else because they're not truly us. And you'll hear it in their speeches when they begin to talk. You'll hear it when they begin to so called act like they're one of us and try to talk about our ancestors. They come off real crazy and disrespectful, try to disrespect the ancestors by saying, the ancestors desired to eat the white man's sandwiches, all kind of just dumb shit, just pure dumbness. That's when you know they're not truly one of us. They're gonna speak against us, period, because they're not truly one of us. Okay, and that's how you'll know stuff like that. Like if you go on an FBA panel and you having it out with somebody, I guarantee you won't. They won't let you slide if you if you start saying calling somebody a slave. All of them gonna turn on your ass. It'd be like, excuse me. That's how you know when you're dealing with real FBA people, ADOS FBA people. That's real Black Americans, not fake Black Americans. Because people like Dinest and Kala, fake Black Americans, they okay with that because they actually promote that. They're not real Black Americans. They're people that's of immigrant origin calling themselves Black Americans. Okay? That's how you'll know the difference. Because a real Black American will draw the sword. They're not going to take that lightly and be like, you know, you know. But anyways, I found it very like sad and pathetic and disrespectful. Truly, it's so distasteful to for people in that situation. One second. Damn, that battery went low fast. Okay. Um, but anyways, where was I? Oh, I was saying I found it to be very distasteful and manless type of fruitless conversations. And the conversations was all about Treyar, the African leader, the young man that's doing, doing some shake up over there in Africa. It was all about him. I think it was more like, should he be supported or not? I'm not really familiar with African politics. Like I said, I have no connection to Africa, no desire for Africa, anything. So I don't really bother myself with it. Um, but I did look into what was going on because I heard that supposedly he was being threatened to be ended um, because of his fight to free his people from colonialism. And so I looked into it. I typed up some stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, okay. I see. So for me, from Mission Tail's perspective, because I do have a perspective, an angle, and a right to my opinion, right? Especially as a YouTube content creator, I have a right to voice my opinion as well. So I'm going to voice my opinion about it. And my opinion about it is it's just as simple as I don't go too deep into it, like I say, because I have nothing to do with Africa. But I'll give you my opinion as a Black American person, a real Black American, not a cosplaying Black American with immigrant roots. But I'm a real Black American. Both parents um, deeply rooted in New Orleans, Louisiana. That's the roots. That's where I come from. Okay, tracing back into chattel slavery, indigenous American Creole culture of people. Okay. All right. So, speaking as a Black American woman, in particular, ADOS FBA, both parents, ADOS FBA, when it comes to Black America, I think that I've been all around Black America. Of course, I told you all different states and everything. I lived around my people all around the country. And I can tell you that they do not care anything about Africa. And this country had an influx at one point after slavery, especially. where the government was structuring this thing where they wanted to get rid of Black America because they had no need for them any longer. Slavery had ended. They did not want them walking around in American society, reaping the benefits of American society, even though we had built it and invented, established, and did a whole lot of things here in America. They did not want us to continue to partake in it. So they established all these type of movements back to Africa. Now this involved the erasure culture, which I'll talk about on my next live stream. The one drop of blood, black blood rule, the one drop rule, to get us all back to Africa. It was a setup to get us all back to Africa. Even today, when you hear them saying everything we do dates back to Africa, which is so very untrue. Majority of the things we do date back to indigenous American tribes. Trust. I'm gonna do the stream the next live session. I'll talk about this, but it dates back to American indigenous. It has nothing to do with African roots at all. The people, it's American racism, rewriting the history, identifying us as a certain kind of people that we don't have a cultural connection or unify with American indigenous peoples. Yeah, yeah. So they told us who we were by classifying us as this. And many of the people they classified as black, African American, or Black American, they were not even that. Okay? So it's a whole little rewriting of history, American racist census, and so forth. But again, that's not what we're talking about tonight. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the fact that, from a Black American woman perspective, a real Black American, ADOS, FBA, both parents. I have to stress that because a lot of y'all not real ADOS, FBA people. Y'all immigrants claiming Black American, which you're not. You're of immigrant origin, and that's what Trump is working on erasing, ridding. Okay, so listen. As an ADOS FBA woman who've been around my people all my life, I can tell you none of them are concerned about Africa. None of them sit around talking about what's going on in Africa, why does the heaven happen in Africa, and blah, 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 Africa. Nothing is spoken about Africa. Nobody even claims Africa. I've never even heard an American black person that I've grown up around even claim Africa as their identity. I've never heard my parents or anybody say, we African. I remember we used to say we were African American. I was young then. And then that term faded real quick. They got rid of that. The brothers rose up and stumped that out. It was like, we ain't no African nothing. We Black Americans. Now, as I grew to understand in my upper age now, more mature age, I grew to understand there's a such thing, a movement, a cult that the American people set up, white America, that they set up using these black immigrants, calling themselves Pan Africans. They use these peoples. I mean, this started way, 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 way back, 1800s and this. They used them to try to get us out the country to Africa. It was all a setup. They used them to try to get us to move to Africa. They still got their little cult activity, as you can hear, like Diners and calling them and all them O'Shea, all of them are Pan Africanist people. It's a little cultic thing to get us to be Put our mind to Africa and move to Africa. They even have it where they tell you if you go over there, you can make a lot of money. Oh, really? Oh, you can make more money in Africa than in America. I see. If you go over there, you're going to have a peace of mind. Oh, really? Oh, I've heard stories where Black Americans have to wait to be served last while the non Blacks were served first because that's the mindset of Africans. They overcharge them on every single thing. Really? Okay. Hmm. Give me a second. My fault. I hope I didn't take too long to listen. Where was I? Trying to remember where was I. Give me a second. Ooh, say it ain't so. You say it ain't so. You wanna go away. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was saying that Black Americans, okay, let me be clear. I gotta stop saying Black Americans because I don't want you to get Miss Chantel confused with cosplaying Black Americans, Black immigrants that consider themselves Black Americans. I don't want you to get me confused with them. I am ADOS FBA, both parents rooted deeply New Orleans, Louisiana, tracing back into Cherokee and Creole populations, nothing to do with African. Okay. I've never heard not near one of my family members ever claim us to be Africans or anything like that. Even as I traveled around America among other people of my tribe and culture, ADOS FBA, I've never heard anybody identify themselves as African, period. And then I explained to you where that identity came from, but it was stumped out eventually by the brothers that rose up and say, we're not playing that. We're not African. We're not African. We know y'all trying to erase our culture, our true cultural identity, but we're not going to allow that. So we got rid of that name Africa and went into calling ourselves Black Americans, a new hybrid of people, of course, Black Americans who have nothing to do with Africa, no connection to Africa, just no African anything. All right. And then I explained to you how the African identity came into play with us, with Black Americans, because it was set up by the government, the white racist American government, to erase our culture, true identity, which has nothing to do with Africa. Africa was bred out from the beginning of the slave woman having the enslavers' children and then having children with the American indigenous allies. We had no African influence. We were raised up 24/7 around Europeans and American indigenous people only. No African, period. Period. None can influence. Okay? The little bit that was trickled down to our people from Mama Africa was very, very little. Not enough to influence our culture. Okay? The cultural influence of Black America had nothing to do with Africa at all. It's a creative people that is blessed and full of originality and creativeness, admired by others around the world. And yes, fucking super jealous of us too, I must say. you know, everything we do, they take it to themselves and then don't pay homage, of course, claim it to be theirs. Even Africans doing this. The white people say, oh, you're only this way because of us, because of our bloodline. That's the only reason you're not a savage running around the jungle eating each other and looking like monkeys. It's because of our blood mixture. That's the only reason you're civilized. And then the Africans say, oh, the only reason you have rhythm and you able to sit down and make the music you make, all of these music genres, and you can play basketball and all kind of sports and excel like nothing, easy breezy. Your voices are so beautiful. That soulfulness in your spirit. It all comes from Mama Africa, which we don't got no kind of connection to and never did. Stop it. But they both claiming the creativeness, the God given creativeness, blessed skillfulness of the ADOS FBA people, who's admired by the world, who the world influenced, who influenced the world. You see this? The whites and the Africans are in a fight over who, why ADOS FBA is so creative and successful at all that they do. And let me tell you something. If you gave us our own little land plot, I guarantee you're not going to see anything but excellence come out of it. That's all you see. There was just an inventor. I know his last name is West. I cannot remember his first name. This man invented a machine that makes fresh water from air vapor. And you don't want me to get into all that Black Americans have created from the telephone and so forth. Many of their inventions stolen. Many had to be handed over to the enslaver because they were considered property. Majority of 95% of everything used in this country, I say 98% though, the books say 95% of everything used in this country every day by Americans were invented by Black Americans. Not just building a country up, but all a lot of the inventions, establishments, and so forth. We are an impressive people, period, point blank. Feel how you want to feel, but truth is truth, facts is facts. Okay, we influence the world. All right, now let's go a little deeper since we got that out the way. Again, our culture and our tribe of people have been attacked because they don't want us in this country anymore. They don't want to see us excel because they know what'll happen if we excel. If we get together and have our own little area And all that, they know what's going to come out of that. Nothing but greatness. So they do their best to maintain that, oh, we are nothing but gangsters and hood rats. And they pay these young people millions of dollars to sing drill music, which is anti Black American anyway. They pay certain people in our communities monies to damage the communities, unfortunately. Millions of dollars, by the way. They do it with politics, they do it with the music industry, they do it with the entertainment industry. They pay people to misrepresent us and make the world think that this is what Black America, excuse me, when I say Black America, I mean ADOS FBA family is about. You have a lot of Black immigrants running around pretending to be us. And now we have delineation because we realize the game they playing with us. And we're not having it any longer. Now, the African identity came through the Pan African movement, which is a little cult movement set up by white American government, paying these Black immigrants to try to get us Black Americans out of this country to relocate us to Africa. It's been going on since like in the 1800s, sweetheart, when slavery first ended. They put together something and it was like, yeah, we're going to get him out. Let's pay this dude right here some money. And, yeah, 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 get him out. Everybody didn't fall for it, though. A lot of the brothers and sisters who has done some footwork in our communities, they were like, listen, they went to talk to that Marcus Garvey cat and they were like, wait a minute, this brother don't seem right. They spied some stuff and they was like, oh, okay, this ain't right. We gotta warn the people. They warn the people. Not all of them listen, of course. Majority of them did. And he was dealt with eventually. They had got him out the country, all that kind of stuff like that. And when they got him out the country, truth be told, not by him, but by your actions. You don't judge people by what comes out their mouth. You judge them based on their actions. And when this man was put out the country, sent back to his country, he left his country again, bypassed Africa where he was trying to get Black Americans to relocate and went to Europe. Ain't even stopped to say hi in Africa. Ain't won't have shit to do with Africa. I mean, didn't even stop in for just 2 days. Come, one day. How about one day? No, no, no. I heard about it. It's awful. He ain't stopped not even for one day. Went straight to Europe. And then when he decided to leave and go back to his homeland, he still didn't stop in and just to see how it is or whatever. Still bypassed it. Went straight to his home. Do you understand the game plan? People talk. Many Pan Africanists they ain't nothing but paid agents. They talk this move to Africa, but many of them live outside of Africa. Many of them live right here in America, in cushy America, while they're telling you to relocate to Africa. Does that make sense, people? That's when you know you're dealing with a buffoon idiot. You telling me about moving to Africa, but you live right here in America. You just take trips over there for about 2 or 3, 4 days the most, because you can't hang even a straight week there. And then you get online and pretend like you still in Africa when you left Africa. You only was there for 3 days. And then you get, listen, there was a lady like this who went to Paris because she was doing something. And she was like, people was like, so you still in Paris, honey, or whatever? She was like, I love it. But she made a mistake and picked up her Dairy Queen cup on live stream. So so everybody was like, wait a minute. Ain't no damn Dairy Queen nowhere in France. This whore is not in France. This whore is back in America. But she was lying, talking about she was still over there in Paris somewhere. I said, my gosh, the games people play. You know what I'm saying? Why you're playing? I don't want to know why you're doing it. Never mind. I don't want to know. So, anyways, those Pan African people, they got little. It's a little cult, and they have little things they doing to try to get Black Americans again. Still to this day, to get out of America and go to Africa. But us Black Americans, the true ADOS FBA family, I keep saying Black Americans, we putting away that title. We strictly ADOS FBA because these other Black immigrants have stole our Black American title. So we have to different, we have to make sure it's clearly understood that I'm not one of them. I'm a true blood Black. I'm a true blood ADOS FBA person. Both my parents. Okay. So listen, now that you know how the identity of Africa was put up on the blacks in America, and now we call ourselves ADOS FBA because the black immigrants have stolen our identity, Black American. Now we have to distinguish ourselves differently by saying we're ADOS FBA, okay? So, as an ADOS FBA person, I explained to you how we have no connection to Africa. I explained to you how that African identity was put up on us. That's the government, CIA, the black immigrants being paid to try to get us to go back there since ways starting when slavery ended in the 1800s. They've been pushing this. They still push it today. But fortunately, Ados FBA family have awakened to the black immigrants' game plan and how they are nothing more than paid agents that was brought here to destroy our culture because we are an awesome people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Ados FBA, you're an awesome people. And this ain't putting nobody else down. This is just simply highlighting who we are. The rest of you, highlight who you are. And as you do, I will applaud you, even if it's something simple as your people giving pushback to something that's not beneficial to you and your people. Even if it's just that simple, I will applaud it to the fullest. But I'm applauding my people, my tribe, my group of people. I'm very proud of them. Harsh aggression, racial aggression, and hostility and terrorism and night in this country, the things they went through, mentions and all kind of stuff, cultural erasure, and just pure foolery. And I applaud them because they still were rising like flowers through the cement cracks. You know what I'm saying? You know how the ground, the pavement all cracked up, they got some dirt growing right up in between. Still, we rise like roses from the concrete that try to keep us down. Mm-mm. Ain't no stopping us. Okay? We know who we are, especially today. We know who we are. So they can keep all that pan Africanness shit and take it to your family that's living right here in cushy America or over there in the UK, somewhere outside of Africa. Your family and y'all living cushy and comfortable somewhere, but you're telling us, ADOS FBA, to move to Africa. You're silly billies, not to be entertained on no level. So now let's get into the Trayar African young leader over there in Africa that's shaking up some things. Okay, one second. He's over there shaking things up. So that's when you know you doing something, right? Because the shakeup happens. When the shakeup happens, you get attention, and it don't mean it's gonna be good attention. It's gonna be an attention call for um, that call for the need to put you in your place type of attention, not a brotherly good for you type of attention. Okay, so the brother's over there shaking up some things, and I read into him. I didn't know much about, I don't do African politics and all that, but I read into some stuff, and because they say he was being threatened and stuff, so I went and read into some stuff. And behold, very interesting. He's a young person, and from my perspective, the ADOS FBA family member, from my perspective, it is a man who has captured the youth. He has captured the attention of the youth of his society, his country, which is a wonderful thing. Because I was just watching some videos like probably about a week ago. It was of African something, when I strolled through some videos, whatever. I think they were talking about something being available, and I saw all the young African people out there, in these age brackets where they need something to do with themselves. And they were seeking opportunities, something to do with themselves, full of energy, physically and mentally, and great ideas, but no resources to get started to do anything. And I thought to myself, wow, they don't try to do anything for the young people there? That's dangerous, right? We do a lot for the young people in America. The difference is that we have opposition still to this day where they want to misrepresent those FBA family and culture. So they put up they pay these young people to make all kind of terrible music and just ridiculous shit they do. Like this is to keep the image of us, looking ridiculous. But anyways, back to Africa. So they don't have any type of resources over there or anything to, get these young people doing something with themselves. And so it was a sad look because the young people looked very hungry and thirsty to do something with themselves. They looked eager and ambitious, but they had nothing to do. And I thought to myself, wow, do they not even think about the young people of their societies? That could be dangerous if you have young people full of energy like that and ideas lingering in society. That's not a good thing. You want to give them something to fucking do right away. You know what I'm saying? So, especially males. Oh, oh. So, anyways, when I read about this man, Torre, however you pronounce his name, Traor, when I read about him and how he captured the youth, that alone got my attention of him. The fact that he captured the attention of the youth of his society and how he's given them hope in the future to do something, good things in life with their life. I loved it. I was like, "Ooh, that's what's up right there. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's the future. Your youth is your future. If you want to change your society, you have to set your youth up to do that." So he's over there giving his youth um, hope that they're going to do great things in their country. And that's a wonderful thing. I applaud that to the fullest. I love it. Now, I didn't get to, he got a lot of support from the youth, which is an awesome thing. That's what he's fueled by, from what I came to understand. And I hope that he get to really put some things in action, like not just talk about it, because the beginning of everything is to yap about it, talk about it, express it. That's the beginning of it, right? Because if you don't communicate it, then what the hell? Like, we have to communicate. I don't know how animals communicate. They have their own little communicating style, but as human beings, we have to talk about it. We have to say it, put it in the air so it can manifest itself. That all of us is aiming for that right there. Okay. And so, you talk about it first and then you put action to it, and hopefully, it's being discussed, and the dreams and the hopes is definitely before the young people there, that he has put before the young people. And I really hope that some things be manifested in reality. Some tangible things come about that's set up in Africa. Now, I didn't really get to read, because right now, from what I understood, it was strictly the young people supporting him, doing great things for them, and setting them up with getting them. He's letting them know where he want to take them into. Where he's letting them know the goal plan. Okay, I didn't get to read about him actually having anything happen from the goal plan, since they discussed the goal plan, which is the youth doing great things in Africa, in their country, first of all. Okay. So I'm hoping that he will get to the point where some things are set up for the youth of his country, and they can do some wonderful things starting in their country. I mean, like, I would be like really putting it down, because you got a bunch of young, energetic people, fresh minds, and if you can lay it out and put them all in those positions to do things, ooh, that's a wonderful thing right there. That's growth. You all working as one to build your country. You that's another thing. He unifying his youth, his people. That's a wonderful thing. Unity, number one. I respect that. That's something that a lot of blacks globally lack. They lack unity. Is it because it's a natural thing? Not so much. Not so much. It's because of yeah, white supremacists know how to divide and conquer. They know how to infiltrate these communities of blacks globally and divide and conquer. It is what it is. Okay, even if they have to use their women to throw the black man off, he's gonna be thrown off. That's the goal plan, to keep him thrown off. Even if they pit them up against each other. That's what they do to Black America right now today, ADOS, FBA in particular. They use other Black immigrants to throw us and have us bickering with other Black immigrants about the dumbest shit ever. Like, what? What are you doing fussing with Africans and immigrants? What for? And that's to throw the people off whatever they might be deciding to do that's better for their communities. Or they come with the money angle. They offer the leaders and stuff, or not so much leaders, but they offer people that have established something in the communities that's growing for the better of the community. They move in and offer them millions of dollars, like Black Lives Matter and other organizations that sprung up in the Black in ADOS FBA communities to better our, our, ourselves in this society of America. They targeted our youth, as I said earlier, giving them millions of dollars to spread the most horrific music to our youth, killing each other. They paid them millions of dollars to make music like that. Now, this one young man, what's his name? Start with a D. Drew Dirk or something? Well, anyways, he was being paid a lot of millions of dollars to create this drill music stuff. But all of a sudden, you know how I get when they become millionaires, they marry, they settle down, and then they want to do something good for the community with all that money. Oh, that changed his idea and his mentality. He wanted to do great things, and child, they hurry up and lock that young man up. Mm, huh. So, we're constantly infiltrated in every which way. Let me tell you, one of the longest standing organizations, man, my phone is loud. One of the longest standing organizations in America that I'm familiar with is the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam, they don't allow other races in. It is strictly for them, exclusive. Mm-mm. Give me a second. Yeah. So they're exclusive and they are very unapologetic for what they stand for. The building of the black man in America. Getting rid of the nonsense of black men thinking it's okay to abandon families on government assistance, thinking it's okay for women to rule men. They've established this structure almost biblical, even though they're not Bible followers. Okay. They have a biblical family structure, which I respect a lot. Yeah, I respect that structure a lot. And so they're one of the longest standing organizations in America that I'm familiar with that hasn't been ravished or infiltrated, still standing strong, even though they had, inside house beef within, they didn't allow it to completely destroy the organization, even when Malcolm X was alive. And, you know, they didn't know the Malcolm X part of it. The people that follow him, they didn't know if it was the infiltrators, CIA, or they didn't even know if it was, the Nation of Islam that followed um, their leader. I forgot the leader name. I lost something. So it was in-house beefing with some outside interference, of course. But eventually, they broke apart, and now they have their own establishments. And I don't know about the others outside of Nation of Islam, because there's others. But I'm just familiar with Nation of Islam. I like how organized they are and what they represent in our communities. I really like that. And I just brought them up to say they're one of the longest standing organizations because they're exclusive. They don't allow other people in. They don't get down with all that other stuff. It is strictly for a particular people to do a particular thing in their particular communities. Is that what this African nation where Traor is? Is that what he should be doing? Yes, I definitely agree. That's what he should be doing. What she's doing, he's building in his particular society in his particular country. Um, I don't know if it's exclusive. I don't know if he is dealing with a whole lot of influx of foreigners there. I don't know the current situation with that or whatever like that. Um, nations influence your society. So if you have a whole lot of foreigners in your society, it's definitely going to affect your society. So you got to deal with stuff like that as well. So yeah, I hope the best for the young man. I hope that he can really get some established positions laid out, a good layout for his people, the young people of his society, so they can get in position to build the country. And you don't need a whole lot of money to build a country. You really don't. You just need to come together as one and put together some ideas. You don't need a whole lot of money to do that. Each one teach one. I'm gonna leave it at this right here. When slavery ended in America with the ADOS FBA family, one teach one type of situation, text message, meaning that they had nurses that was in the world wars, and they used those black nurses to, you know, fix up the soldiers and stuff like that. And so those nurses went back to their black communities, and especially when slavery ended, they opened up little schoolhouses and they showed the other women how to become nurses in their communities and families. Those who knew how to read opened up little schoolhouses. I'm not saying business wise, entrepreneur stuff, but they will open up a little area for to teach the children. Each one teach one. Those who knew how to read taught the others how to read and write. Those black men who had a skill taught it to the others. Do you see where I'm going with it? It don't take a million, a whole to do that. This is why I'm proud of FBA Black America, FBA ADOS family in particular, because even after slavery ended, the people rose up with greatness still. And our schools was flourishing. The children were excellent. But of course, integrate them of that. When they integrated, it robbed them of it swiftly. That's why I'm not an integrationist supporter. No, 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 no. So again, it don't take millions of dollars to get with each other and lay out a foundation. It just take unified effort, each one teach one, and let it keep trickling down. Now, that's a problem for a lot of people because a lot of people have a narcissistic mindset where they want to be worshiped and known as the only one with that particular skill or that particular craft or that particular um, gift of gab. They don't want to share it. And if you don't want to share, how can you expect the people to rise up in greatness? Okay? You got to be willing to share. So, again, I wish him well and all that he's trying to do for his people and his society. I wish them well. But concerning ADOS FBA family, I don't think we have anything to do with it. Period. If you have been sold and bought a ticket into Pan Africanism ideologies, then move along. Take your ass on over there with the Pan Africans. While you go to Africa and they live in America, take your ass on over there with them. But leave us the heck alone because ADOS FBA family have their own things that they need to be concerned with. We need not to be concerned with building other people's nations. That's absolute ridiculous foolery for us to be concerned with building other people's nations that don't benefit us in any kinds of ways. Okay? So again, ADOS FBA family has nothing to do with or we can give an opinion, of course. We have a right to opinions, to our opinion, but we have nothing to do with that. We simply don't have anything to do with it. Okay? Just as he doesn't have anything to do with our issues and what we need to do over here in America to tend to our communities and ourselves. He's not thinking about us on that level, our well being in this country. And why should you go and support his country and you get nothing out of that? You're helping build somebody else's country and you get nothing out of it. Like what's built in his country is for his citizens first. And guarantee they will whoop ass and get you up out of there when they have no need for you. So every group should be concerned with the building of their own group. That makes sense, right? So far as the ADOS FBA family giving an opinion, I don't even hear them talking about this man on any YouTube channels, especially FBA channels. I don't hear anything about this man. Like I just simply don't hear anything about it. Like ADOS FBA family is not concerned with it at all because it's none of our business. Now you have those Black American immigrants that have stolen the identity of Black Americans here in America and they are calling themselves Black Americans, they may be concerned. We're trying to make it seem as though we're concerned with that when we're not. We're not Black immigrant. We have no issues with what's going on with outside of America. Now, if you bought into the ideas, the ideology of Pan Africanism alone, keep it moving. Because to be truthfully honest with you, in this country, there is no there is no ADOS FBA people sitting around concerned about anything going on in any part of Africa. Don't even claim Africa. I hope you guys learned something tonight from the angle of an ADOS FBA woman that's born and raised in America. This is my angle. And I can guarantee you, if you go switch around to some ADOS FBA channels, you will not hear anything about Treyarch and what's going on in his country. We don't concern ourselves with it. We don't have nothing to do with it. We support you in building your nation up. That's a wonderful thing. And, we're going to focus on building us up right here in America. That's all to it. There's no need to have any babble fusses about on in Africa. All right. So that's pretty much what I wanted to put out there. Something else I wanted to say before I wrap it up right now. One second, let me see. Yeah, again, it does not take a lot of money to build your country. It really doesn't. It's a method, each one teach one. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, there's a Bible story called the Tower of Babel. And when the people was at the Tower of Babel, the Bible says they all spoke and they moved as one people. So, but whatever they decided to do, nothing could get in their way. That's what God said, right? Because God said, okay, these people is building up a tower to the heavens. And God came down and was like, let's go see it. He told his angels, let's go check it out. So they came down and he was like, whoa, these people speak one language. They move as one people. Anything they put their mind to, they will accomplish it. Anything they put their mind to, they will accomplish it. And so what happened? God gave them different tongues, different languages. They couldn't understand each other and they had to disperse away from each other. This group go that way, this one go that way, this one go over there, those go way over there, this one go way southwest. They were dispersed around the earth, starting and nations of people from one people. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so the moral of the story is unity equals power. They didn't have a lot of money. They had each other and they had bright ideas and they worked together. Same thing when slavery ended in America. I'm very proud of the ADOS FBA family. They did not have a lot of money, but when slavery ended, they were working together. And the method was each one teach one. They opened little school shacks, put together a little shack, and they brought all the children there. And those who knew how to read taught the other ones how to read, and then they taught the others how to read, and it continued on. Same thing with nurses. They used those enslaved women and stuff, and women that was black women that was they were used in wars to clean up soldiers and stuff like that. All that they learned, they began to teach other women in the communities how to be nurses in the communities and in their families. So it was like a each one teach one method. Whatever skill was possessed by only a few or a couple, they taught it to others, and then the others taught it to so forth like that. Until we was a rising nation, our children was very well educated. We segregated, but doing great, excelling. Our communities, I mean, just building. And a white man would, of course, always come and destroy those communities of excellence and put a lake on top of them or claim drop bombs and stuff, just all kind of ridiculous stuff. Okay? And this was before integration. So, yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot of money to build your society up. It just take you guys being unified on the same page, same goal in mind. And so far, Treyarch, their leader, has gotten to that point, and hopefully they start showing some things where they have come together and begin to build. Okay, but it has nothing to do with Black America has, not Black America, ADOS FBA family has nothing at all to do with this man building of his society. We have our own society to be concerned with right here in America. We have children here that we are not going to abandon for no fucking Pan African bullshit. Now, when you get to ready to build in a black, in a, not black, but ADOS FBA mindset, you understand you have a loyalty to the people right here, your people, these young people that is being misled by different entities of people. You don't, it doesn't make sense to go and build somebody else's society talking about you building. What? That's idiotic. Would Treyarch come to Black America, come over here to our society and build here? No. He's concerned with his own society. And then he said, you can come over here and help us build. And that's all you're going to do is be a helper. Because when it grow into something great, they're going to definitely get rid of you because the main number one people that society is built for is his people. Make it make sense now. Come on, I'm trying to help you out. Why would you go somewhere else and build somebody else's society up? Build your own society up. Those FBA men and women, build your own society. Okay? So yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's my take on it there. And I'm gonna leave the rest of that alone because it is what it is. He reminds me of I used to really be a big fan of Fidel Castro. You know how they used to say. I seen some videos of him and he seemed like a great soldier, great he had like a love for the people. Like I was like, wow, that's what's up. Um Kind of reminds me of that a little with the audience that's targeted. Like he got a particular audience that he's targeted. He didn't have a particular audience. He targeted the poor as well as the young population and I think farmers. I'm not quite sure, but with Triara, his target was the youth of his country, which is a good thing. Those young people need something to do. Okay, so yeah, let me see what else I want to say right quick. Cause I'm going off at the top of my head. I ain't write nothing down or anything. I just started giving my point of view on the matter. Oh yes, 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 honey. So y'all see the title of this stream. Collagenesis, Africans are right to call ADOS FBA slaves, the white man's slaves. It's so pathetic. I'm gonna wrap it up after I say this. It's just so pathetic what I saw, what I heard last night. An African yelling to the African, an African yelling to the ADOS FBA people that they were nothing more than slaves. And I'm like, really though? Like, how disgusting! Like, wow. And this is another reason why I say we could never really work together as a people. And it also FBA have to be real careful with these Pan African people, the little cult, the white American cult, government cult of Pan Africans used to infiltrate Black Americans and get us up out of here to move to Africa and identify ourselves as Africans, which we're not. Ding dong, we're not. Listen, we could never really work together. When somebody feel comfortable to call you, and we were never slaves. Our ancestors were slaves. Okay, the ancestors were slaves. The ones that were taken. Oh, what am I saying? Talking about taken from Africa. I'm so wrong for saying that. The ones who were sold by Africans around the world. So, To be so disrespectful of an African, to yell that about Africans that were sold around the world. Of course, by other Africans, they were sold. You see the concept in this? Like somebody's really creepy in this equation. Africans today calling descendants of kidnapped, stolen Africans, who Africans sold around the world to different people around the world. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? Hold on, let me break this shit down some more. You got Africans today calling descendants of slaves, descendants of slaves of Africans that were sold by other Africans to other Europe, to other nations of people. You have Africans calling their descendants slaves, which their descendants aren't slaves, but the Africans that was sold by other Africans uh, to other nations were enslaved. Do you see? I don't think I need to go any further into this. Do you see the corrupt, savage mind like in this setting, in this equation? There's a savage mind in the equation. That African that's calling the descendants of slaves slaves. This person don't have no connection to the Africans that was sold by other Africans. And this person is African. So it means that Africans have no problem with selling their own kind of people around the world, something they've been doing way before Atlantic slave trade and that Middle Eastern slave trade. They've been selling their people for, baby, before we can imagine, around to other nations. This is a normal behavior in Africa to sell their children when in need. And that's what I be saying when I say we don't have the same mindset. Yeah, yeah, we don't have the same mindset. We don't even think alike. Just handing our children over to other nations of people is crazy. Do you know in this country we fought with the government for white people not to adopt our children? But they so called, oh, we're all one, we're American. Child, stop. It's something that was falling out of our control, but I'm quite sure we had our own country. Oh no, baby. Oh no. No, sweetheart. That kind of mindset is, oh, wow. If you think something like that is normal, I would never want to have children with such a person. So, yeah, that's crazy. That's another reason why I think that ADOS FBA family, we could never really work side by side. The culture and the mindset is extremely different. Extremely different. Maybe you guys can work with South African, not South Africans, South Americans, Haitians, Caribbeans, Afro uh, Central America Africans, like the Afro Honduras people or Afro Ecuadorians and so forth. Maybe you guys can work with them, but I'm very sure you it would not be a success working side by side with Ano's FBA family. We the mindsets are completely different. Okay, it is what it is. Nothing to babble about, nothing to fuss about, or anything like that. It is what it is. Because to work together, you got to be willing to kind of come together and blend together and be one with each other for a certain amount of time to work together and build something together. And that would never happen because the mindset is completely different. And things that we know of Africa is some things we just not in agreement with. Like some things you can't even pay people to be in agreement with. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I hope you guys learned something from this live stream or even got a different perspective, different point of view from yours, and hopefully you learned something. Because I always try to think, now, why would you say something like that to a descendant of slaves? Why would you call them a slave? What is your point in saying such things? And but why? And we know because we can kind of understand, this person is of this type of mindset because where they come from, these type of things are normal. It's normal to sell people, and they don't find a goddamn thing wrong with it. Not only that, it's normal for them to get crazy killer attitude if you simply disagree with what they're stating. Like, really, simply because you disagree and have another stance on the subject, you have no self control at that point. If you just want to go there because somebody disagree with you, okay, or let savagery come out because somebody simply disagree with you. Um, and on top of that, it's a whole lot of other things like, I just don't see it. But anyway, from Miss Chantel's perspective, we don't have anything in common anyway. As I said that at the top of the hour, we don't have anything in common with Africa. Everything we do, they try to say it traces back to Africa, but in actuality it doesn't. We have no ties to Africa. Our happenings, it traces back right here to European and indigenous American influences. Period. It has nothing to do with Africa. The notion that it traces back to Africa is a racist notion, and it was set up to erase Black indigenous culture because they didn't want the people to be one. The one drop blood root was used and created for that very purpose to classify people as different races and all in it. The classification of classifying people of different races, they were doing it merely by eyesight. So if you looked more African to them or what they call African or black, they would say, okay, well, you're black. If you look more American indigenous, okay, you. And this is another way they stole land from a lot of American indigenous tribes of people. They would classify these people as black. And that's some shit. Yeah, honey. They would classify these people as black. Many, many, many of them that was caught, and they would classify them as black so that they can have reasons to take their land and stuff, and not count them as American indigenous tribal member. Okay, and then they set up the beef where, yeah, it's a lot to it. I'll do that the next live stream. Okay, not tonight. So I think I said what I wanted to say, and I think I got my point across. I hope you guys learned something from the stream tonight. Oh, the movie Sinners. I clicked that on. Let me speak on that right quick and I'm done because I'm sleepy. And let me see how I share this. Now, I seen the movie. I didn't want to watch it again because, sometimes you got to watch it a few times to hold on. What's up with this? Okay. Sometimes you have to watch it a few times to understand, to pick up everything in the movie that's said and done. Because you watch it one time, you don't always get to, you miss out on some stuff that was said and done. So in this movie, I like how a lot of people is explaining the hidden meanings in a movie, but you have to watch it a few times in order to get to pick all those meanings up. You have to watch it a few times. Okay, I'm talking like at least three, 4 times. I'm like, that's a bit much. Listen, so first of all, Michael B. Jordan, I think that's his name, B. Jordan, Michael B. Jordan. He did a fabulous job in acting. I think all of them did a fabulous job in acting in the movie. All of them. The movie was good. It was an entertaining movie to me. It captured my attention most definitely. It was entertaining. Um, and I never really seen a black movie like this type of movie style before, so it was pretty interesting. Um, I ain't gonna go into where I'm from and the hoodoo voodoo crap and all that. I was about to go there, but I'm not. But where did the setting even? I don't know. I think I watched it one time. I didn't watch this twice. I wanted to watch it again, but I only watched it once. So I have no idea where the setting took place. I think it was. I know it was in the deep south. Okay, but anyways, yeah, I thought it was a pretty good movie, and it did have a lot of hidden messages. I did pick up that point. Give me a second to think about the movie, the whole point of the movie, because I didn't get to do this before I started live streaming, right? All I know is I had put it up there because I wanted to speak on it one real quick. But give me a second. Let me put the whole movies together into what it boiled down to be, in my opinion. I don't know what to think about this movie, the whole point of the movie. I really don't have a, from what I watched, I would have to say the point of it was just to introduce a horror scene type of vampire stuff into a particular culture of people because we don't make movies like that usually. With all that vampire stuff, we don't usually make. I mean, I seen one movie before, like I think Eddie Murphy was in that movie years ago. It's an old school movie, and it was more comedy more than anything. This movie here though is more. It was more related to the history. I guess that's the twist with it. It was It was about um, the historical lineage of ADOS FBA people in America. And then that was introduced, the vampire thing was introduced. And it was so called introduced via music, through the music. Now, what stood out to me is when a black guy who was guarding the door, he went to use the restroom and then he was bitten, of course. And when he returned to try to get back in, of course, another two things stood out to me. The fact that you couldn't tell that they were vampire unless their face was bitten up or whatever. That's number one. They can fake. like they regular people. And then number two, the other thing that stood out to me was the fact that the other thing that stood out to me was the fact that the guy who came from the restroom, he could not just go in. He had to get them to allow him, to welcome him to do whatever it is he was trying to do. He couldn't just do it. He had to get them to allow him to do whatever he wanted to do. He couldn't enter the building unless they welcomed him in. So I'm saying those are the two main things that stood out to me about the movie. So, with that being said, you look out for them infiltrators, people that look like you but aren't you. They're not you. And it could be family. And then people that try to fuck you over, but they can't unless you allow them to. They're going to fuck you over if you allow it. Okay? And you got to be eyeing and have excellent listening skills so that you can pick up what they say and do. And you can spot that infiltrator. And you'll know how to move. Okay? And they had some other things in there too, like him protecting his nephew and stuff. That was significant to me as well. He was really, really protective of his nephew. And he risked his life to protect his nephew. The older cat risked his life to protect his younger nephew. You understand what I'm saying? And historically, that's been happening in Black America in this country always. Nowadays, they try to turn us against each other. But back in the days, the brothers were always risking their lives to protect their younger brothers because they saw themselves as brothers, as one. It's a little different today because they're not aware of the infiltrators, you know. And the infiltrators can only come in if you allow them. Ooh, I'm getting deep here. We're not going to go no deeper than this right here. It's almost getting spiritual, right? Because I can then start relating it to the Bible. But we're not going to go that deep right here. We're going to stop right here. I don't like going too deep. You know what I mean? That too deep is too deep. But on the surface, we learned some things that what I had just told you, shared with you. Okay? But it was an interesting movie. It was, I'm not really into movies like this, but it was okay. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm more into laid back movies. Okay. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. Oh, I have a comment. I always wait till the end of the show to go to my comments. Girl, good morning. You be up. Charlie, you be up with me like, girl. Listen, I don't be expecting people to be woke this time of morning. Girl, you be doing it. And I be on the other screen. I don't always because when I start the stream, I go to my private chat and I zone in on what I'm saying because I don't want to be distracted. And then, eventually I come back to I remember to go back to the comment section to check out the comment section. If I don't see like one of the signs that tell me it's a comment, then I just assume nobody's there. But when I see something in there that says you have a comment, then it reminds me to go back to the comment section. Grand Rising, honey, you be up late at night with Miss Chantel. Oh my goodness. So, anyways, I'm about to wrap it up here. You know what, Charlie? I think I'm gonna do the next live stream. I'm gonna start off with the Sinners review, and hopefully you can chime in if you want to come up and chime in about your perspective about the movie. I'll drop the link. I'm gonna start off with that, and then I'm going to go into the erasure of Black indigenous culture in America, and with America's racist census that they set up, um, and the one drop rule and so forth like that. Because I think that a lot of the people don't know about that, so I want to touch up on that. Greetings, motor culture. Okay, so that's going to be the next live stream, and I think I'm going to stream from my new channel I set up. Um, I'll be sharing that with y'all when I come back on. Okay, I'm a connected to that particular stream. So for now, I'm gonna wrap it up because I am sleepy. And Motor Culture says you do know the Sam character is based on Robert Jackson, iconic blues guitar player. No, I didn't know that. I did not know. I want to do a review on it though. The next live stream probably I'll probably do it tomorrow sometime, probably around 6 or 7. It's a very interesting movie. It seems like it could get a little spiritual though. You know what I mean? When I start, at least from my perspective, when I start connecting, I'm like, But we'll talk about it on the next stream, and hopefully you join me. My modes are culture. All right. Thank you for tuning in, and y'all have a good night's sleep if you haven't been asleep. Good night.